Hello, my name is Lacey, and I'm your English teacher for today. Welcome back to the Eigo Love YouTube channel. Today, we are going to cover countable and uncountable nouns. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and dive in. So let's go ahead and start with countable nouns. Countable nouns are things we can count using numbers. We can use these nouns in the singular or the plural form. And we can also use a and am with these verbs. And to ask questions with this form, we say, how many? So let me give you a few examples. I have 2 cameras. I have 2 cameras. Here, we can actually count the number of cameras. 1, 2, 3, which makes this a countable noun. I own a car. In this case, we have 1 car, which is why we use a car, and it is countable. We can count the number of cars we have. And last, here's a question. How many years have you been studying English? How many years? And years is countable. You got it? Next, we have uncountable nouns, and these are things we cannot count with numbers. They are ideas or qualities or physical objects that can't be counted, such as liquids, gas, powder. And in general, they do not have a plural form. Uncountable nouns don't use a or an. However, they do use some, a lot of, a bit of, a great deal of to describe the amount. You can also use specific measurements such as an hour of time or 1 slice. That way you can quantify these nouns. And instead of how many, you use how much. For example, I wasted a lot of time on my report. In this case, time is an uncountable noun. You cannot say 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. It doesn't work. I wasted a lot of time on my report. Next, you would need a great deal of money to travel the world. You would need a great deal of money to travel the world. In this case, money cannot be counted. This is often confusing because, for example, dollars or pesos can be counted $1, $2, but money we cannot count. We do not say 1 money, 2 monies. It doesn't work. Next, and here's a question. Do you want some sugar for your coffee? Do you want some sugar for your coffee? We cannot count 1 sugar, 2 sugars. Next, I need a bit of milk for this recipe. I need a bit of milk for this recipe. And last, how much cheese do you want on your pasta? How much cheese do you want on your pasta? This is one of my favorite questions to be asked at a restaurant because I love cheese on my pasta. Like I said in the beginning, it is possible to quantify uncountable nouns by adding another word to count them. For example, slice, bottles, cups. For example, I want 2 slices of cheese on my burger. I want 2 slices of cheese on my burger. So cheese by itself is an uncountable noun. We don't say 1 cheese, 2 cheeses. However, you can count slice, a slice of cheese, so I want 2 slices. Okay? Next, I've had 2 cups of coffee today. I've had 2 cups of coffee today. And last, I need to pick up 2 pieces of luggage. I need to pick up 2 pieces of luggage. We would not say I need to pick up 2 luggages. We have to add the extra word, which is piece. So for example, The example from earlier, I've had 2 cups of coffee. For grammar purposes, we need to add the cups. However, in common language today, for coffee, people now say, I've had 1 coffee, or I've had 2 coffees. And this is common. However, you need to be careful because it's not the case for everything. We cannot do it with luggage. We cannot do it with time. So you need to be aware of the exceptions, but remember, exceptions are just that, exceptions. Another exception is water. To quantify water, we would typically say bottle of water. However, some people, not everyone, shorten this to I've had 2 waters today, or can I have 2 waters? So try to be aware of the exceptions and remember them as you hear them. I hope this video makes sense. You just need some practice with countable and uncountable nouns, and I'm sure you'll have it. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comment box down below and I'll be glad to answer them. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. I'll see you next time. Bye!